Hello, Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos, and this is Spotlight Georgetown. You can find us over the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening. Quite often you can find us at other times, middle of the night usually. But if you would like to be part of this process, this is your cable station. If you would like to learn how to run the camera, or do some editing, or just be part of it, please let me know and we'll make sure that we get them on the air. So come join us. Today we're talking to Martha Cashins, and she's from HomeInstead. Now, you're not from Georgetown.
No.
But you service Georgetown.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. We'll make that clear right away. Now, where are you from?
I'm from North Andover.
Oh, so you're close.
Very
close. And you have family there?
No, I don't have family there. That's where my office is.
Oh, okay. All right. What is HomeInstead?
HomeInstead Senior Care is a franchise, and I provide non-medical support to seniors, and companions, homemakers, and personal care homemakers. Anywhere from 3 hours a day to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So they can stay home instead of going someplace else?
Somewhere else.
All right.
Yes.
When did you start this business?
HomeInstead is a franchise, and that's been around for 16 years. And I started my business in January 4th of 2000.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a while?
Yes, almost 12 years.
What made you want to go into this type of field?
Well, I've been a caregiver pretty much my whole life, and I'm actually a caregiver right now for my husband and my sister. And I was working in medical devices and selling medical devices to nurses and doctors in the hospital. And I thought there was such a need for something like this. And a friend of mine had bought a franchise in Virginia and told me about it, and I looked into it, and it seemed to be a very good fit for me.
So this isn't just something very local,
No, this is international, national and international. They have 900 franchises, 150 in 15 foreign countries, and 800 in the United States and Canada.
We like to think that, other countries are a little bit different than ours, but
Right. No, it's amazing.
People age and need
That's
support and help in every country.
In every country.
Now this is non-medical?
This is non-medical.
Okay.
So I am a non-medical. This is different from a skilled agency.
Right.
Do you want me to explain that difference?
No. Good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. A skilled agency is the agency that you would come out of the hospital or out of the rehab with. You would always come home with a nurse, possibly a physical therapist, a occupational therapist. But in addition to that, you might need someone to come in and make a meal, help you get up in the morning, help you get dressed, take a shower, and make your bed and take you grocery shopping, take you to the doctor. That's the piece that I fit in.
When I was on the website, I was reading all the things that you do, and I got to the one that said that you would go into somebody's cupboards and check expiration dates. Thinking, how often do people actually do that in their own home?
That's right. That's right. And I think seniors as well as myself, because I know I have some things right now that should be thrown away, but we tend to accumulate. And sometimes you push things to the back of your cabinet and you don't realize the dates have gone by.
Right.
And even salad dressings and things in your refrigerator that you all of a sudden look at and realize, oh my, it's a year old.
Yeah.
So.
And I think a lot of times people say, well, if it's in the refrigerator, it's safe.
It must be good. Even eggs. We really have to be careful about what we eat and how long it's been there.
Okay. Now, how do you select your employees?
My employees are, first of all, they are all my employees. They come into my office and they have an interview, and we do 6 reference checks, and we do a CORI check, which is the State of Massachusetts criminal background check, and then we do a Social Security background check, a sex offender check, a nursing registry check. We do every check on every person that we are allowed to do as an agency.
So that when this person comes into your home, you don't have to worry about...
Right. Yes.
Worry about them being in your home.
That's right. And they are all insured and bonded. And I've been, as I said, I'll be 12 years in January, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
How many do you have?
I have about 75 people working for me right now.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I had one of these women come into my own home to stay with my mother once for about 4 weeks because she was coming out of a rehab, and I was working all day, so I had her come in for 3 or 4 hours a day. And so they're wonderful, wonderful people.
What type of services do you actually supply?
There's
got to be a huge list here.
Oh yeah, there
I remember reading it online.
We do companionship and meal preparation, light housework, laundry, errands, and incidental transportation. And that incidental transportation can be
Right to the hairdresser?
to the hairdresser, to the doctor, to the podiatrist, to take someone's animal to the vet, or take them to the groomer. We take a lot of women shopping for new clothes. We have done weddings. Oh, you name it. We've taken people.
Now, what do you mean weddings?
What will happen is many times a family will call and say, I would like my mother to go to the wedding, and I want her to be there and come to the reception, but I'm not sure she can do the whole time, especially in the evening because it's a very late night. So we'll accompany somebody to a wedding and go with them to the reception, and when they're tired, we'll bring them home and stay with them until the family member comes home.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah, we've done that many times.
I was talking in my classes this week, and there was a woman saying that she had to put her parent in a nursing home for 2 weeks while they finished the preparations and while they actually did the wedding because they couldn't handle it all. And it was $1,500 a week to put this person in a nursing home. So you would provide services to keep mom busy so that you can get your other things done.
Yep. And what my business does, it is considered blocks of time. So what we will do is we will go in for somebody like that. She might have had to have 4 or 5 hours a day that she was working on the wedding. We would go in and stay with her mother 4 or 5 hours a day. Whatever blocks of time she happened to need. It's up to the client. They tell us what they need, and we fit people into their schedule.
Okay, what type of services would you not provide?
We don't do heavy lifting. A person has to be able to stand on their own, bear their own weight.
Okay.
So when we transfer them, they have to be able to stand up and pivot and then sit. And we can help them get up, sit down, transfer from the bed to the commode, transfer from a wheelchair to the couch. But they have to be able to do a little bit with our help getting up.
Okay.
So the things that we don't do is a Hoyer lift. That's really a skilled nursing and a skilled nursing care. And also, if someone can't bear their own weight, then sometimes they're a 2-person transfer. That becomes expensive, although if there is a family member there, we can help them transfer with the aid of a family member.
All right, so, and you don't do any medical services?
We don't do any medical services.
Do you accept insurance?
We accept long-term care insurance, and I'm finding that more and more of my seniors are starting to have long-term care insurance.
My parents have long-term.
Do they? It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful because it pays so much money a day for a person for a particular length of time. So we accept long-term care insurance. There's also a program through the veterans. It's called the Aid and Attendance Program.
Okay.
And some veterans have, it's really like a pension that the veteran themselves will receive. And that can be used to pay for services like mine. That's pretty much all. It is a private pay. For the most part, it is private pay.
All right, but long-term insurance does cover.
Yes.
What makes you different from other agencies? You hear about angels and hospice and all of these other groups. What makes you different?
I think our training is what sets us apart. I have a training facility at my office, and in that facility I have a bed and a wheelchair and a commode. Yes.
I work with primarily elders myself, so and it is just a wonderful, wonderful group of people.
It is.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum number of hours that, if I call up and say I would like to have you, what's the minimum?
The minimum is 3 hours a day, anywhere from 3 hours a day to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But somebody can have us 3 hours a week, 3 hours once every other week. But we try to stay to 3 hours. It's we've had requests for an hour. It's just impossible.
By the time you get in and the time you get out.
Right. What can you do in an hour?
Right.
How can you help anybody in an hour?
Yeah.
And if you do, you run in and do the task, and then you just never get to know the person.
Okay, so 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is there a maximum? 24.
24.
Okay.
24 hours.
And how many people would you have on a 24-hour day?
In one day, we would have 3 people.
Just like a nursing care?
Just like nursing care. It would be 8 to 2, 2 to 8, and usually the overnight person is 8 to 8.
Okay.
And so that can
because the client is asleep. And
Right, and going to bed. And so that person might do from 8 to 10 The client might even be in bed by 8 o'clock when they go in,
Right.
but then maybe they're up at 5:30 in the morning, so then they're with them until 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So there's
And if they need to get up in the middle of the night
Oh,
to use the
yes.
restroom, there's
Oh,
somebody
absolutely.
there with them?
They're expected to get up at least 3 times a night, and the caregiver gets up with them. If they get up 5, 6, 7 times a night, the caregiver will always get up with them.
Okay. Now, when you start contracting, is it a contract or is a client tied in that they say you have to do
No.
this many?
No, and I explain that every time I go out on a service call. We do have an agreement that says that we're working together, that I'm going to provide service, and they're going to pay me for my service. And but that's really all that is about. There are no contracts. What we require is if we're working with a client, we ask them to give us 24-hour notice if they have to cancel, so that we can call our caregiver and give them a notice and maybe put them in another case for the next day. If they're going to cancel service completely, if it's a large case, we ask them to give us a week to 2 weeks notice. But there are no contracts. When we start working together, we sign an agreement, and if in a week it doesn't work out, if the client goes in the hospital, if the client goes in a nursing home, I mean, there's no way that you can contract with somebody and make them pay you for something you're not doing.
What type of pay scale are we talking here?
Pricing
Right.
pricing range, anywhere from $22 an hour for compare and see. It's difficult right now. That's what it is, $22 an hour, to about $25 an hour, depending on what the need is, and if it's Saturdays and Sundays, I charge a little bit more.
Okay.
But it's about $1 an hour more, not a lot more, and so right now that's where my price range is.
I was just thinking, for $60 to $75 for, let's say, that minimum 3 hours,
Right.
you could spend that much going for dinner.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And to have the peace of mind that somebody's with mom or dad.
Right, right. And in those 3 hours, my people will do a lot. I mean, they'll pick up the kitchen, they'll pick up the bathroom, they'll change the bed and do the laundry, and make a meal. Sometimes we go in and make 2 or 3 meals for someone so that they'll have them for 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
So that way we're not there every day. We're going in maybe twice a week. In that 3 hours, they're very efficient.
And sometimes it's just, I want to play cards.
That's right. Sometimes it is. And companionship is a huge piece to this, even though the majority of my clients today require a little more care than just a companion.
Yeah.
But a caregiver and a client should have some time together so that they get to know each other, and they, like I said, they form a bond and they want to know a little bit about each other.
Yeah.
So you need to have a little bit of time to do that. It can't be task every minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever do one-day services?
Yes.
Like a special event?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to
Special
go to my
events.
son's graduation and I can't leave mom alone.
Yes. Oh yeah. And we will go in and stay with somebody while the family is away. We'll do a weekend while the family is away. But at one time, sure, we'll do that. We've done that many times.
The companionship part that we just talked about, again, I teach primarily seniors and senior centers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've been married for 60 years and you have a spouse that passes away, it's a very lonely existence.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah.
And to have somebody that, you know that will stay with your mother or your sister or whoever, or
Right.
your father, whoever needs it,
Yeah.
and know that they're going to have some companionship and not just be sitting alone
Yeah.
all the time in
Yeah.
the house.
Right. And sometimes they need somebody with them at supper time, because I don't know.
Or else they don't eat.
Else they don't eat. And so somebody to fix them a meal and sit down and eat with them is a huge thing. Eating alone is a very difficult thing. So sometimes you just don't eat. You don't want to eat.
Yeah.
And so somebody coming in and having a meal with you and are helping you prepare the meal, because what we don't want to do is take the independence away from the senior. You want to keep them as independent as long as possible.
So let them cook and you'll do the dishes.
Right, and do the dishes. Or if they can't cook anymore, let them give you the recipe and tell them how to do it. I had a client that had Parkinson's and she could not do her cooking. She was a fabulous Lebanese cooker. It was wonderful. She taught my caregiver all the recipes, and they used to sit together and cut up all the things and get everything ready, and then my caregiver would cook the meal
neat.
with her instructions. So it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got about 75 people. And how many clients do you generally have in a week?
Anywhere from 50 to 70, I guess, in a week. Some people are like that once a week, once every other week. I also have a contract with Elder Services. So if somebody is receiving services from Elder Services, they can go through me in some cases. If I provide the service that they need, they can go through me. So that person might only get 2 hours because Elder Service does restrict the amount.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because the state doesn't have the money, sometimes that's what happens. But I'd say probably 60 clients at any one time.
Okay. Do you see something like this expanding?
Oh, absolutely.
As we all age?
As we all age. And, I even work in assisted living because people go into assisted living being very high functioning, and after being there many years, they might need additional help to be able to stay there. And assisted living can't do blocks of time. That's what we consider that 1 to 3 hours
Right.
or 4 hours. Or sometimes it's after dinner until they go to bed. They're wandering around or just
a little sundowning.
A little sundowning, or just a little bit. They need a little company at that time, someone to talk to, and maybe just have a little agitation. So somebody going in from 6 to 9 is a wonderful thing, or even 5 to 8. Just when they're coming out of dinner, staying with them, helping them get ready for bed, picking out their clothes for the next day, and just making sure they get tucked in, and then off we go. It's a good thing.
And that doesn't interfere with the assisted living
Not at all.
level of care?
Not at all. Because normally they will go in and help someone get ready for bed, but they certainly can't spend an hour.
Right.
And they have sometimes 20 and 30 people that they have to help. So they don't do long blocks of time. They do very short periods of time.
Okay, this sounds like just an amazing
It is a
amazing
wonderful
program.
business.
Now, it's the one that you work, this is HomeInstead
It's HomeInstead Senior Care.
Senior Care. Okay, so people can look it up on the web.
Right, on the website.
Or they
Yep.
can look you up in the phone book.
Yes, look me up in the phone book. Yep.
Something that really, there's a lot of need for it.
Oh, it's absolutely, yes, there is absolutely a lot of need for it.
And I think a lot of people, if they knew services like this were out there, would
Yep.
just use them a little more.
Yes, and I think for the caregiver who is taking care of someone, this is a huge service for them, and it just takes the burden off. A caregiver should be able to spend time with their parent, quality time. Go in, maybe take them out to dinner, just even sit and play cards with them and talk. A caregiver doesn't always want to go in and have to strip the bed and do the task and not spend quality time.
Right.
So sometimes if we can go in and do all of the housework and those kinds of tasks, then the family can just spend quality time together.
It frees up the time
It
for
does,
the family.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I truly appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
And you also said before we close this down, you said that if people just have general questions, they can call you.
They could call my office and ask.
Nothing to do with your particular
No,
service.
it doesn't
just-
have to be, because I've been doing this for such a long time. I know where to send them to get the answers. And sometimes, especially if it's an emergency, most of us don't call an agency like mine until it's more of an emergency.
Right.
And if they just need information, I had someone come into my office last week to ask questions for his wife's mother, who isn't even in this state, but just had broken her hip, and they were very upset and didn't know which way to turn. So,
Okay.
a lot of times we just give information that will help people get to the right place.
And you do work with Elder Services as
I
well.
do work with Elder Services,
So
yes.
they can always
Yep.
find
Yep.
you through them too.
Yep. And HomeInstead has a lot of information, a lot of pamphlets and different information that would help caregivers and seniors. And we also have something called Caring for Your Parents, a Senior Emergency Kit, which
Okay.
is which has information in it and a place for them to put all the pertinent information about their parent.
So it's all in one place.
All in one place. So if you have to go to the doctor, everything is here.
Okay.
That's a great tool. So they can also get that from me.
Well, thank you very much. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you
Thank you. It
coming
was a
in.
pleasure.
It was great information. Because it's something that you forget. We have our elders that need a little help now and then.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
I'm Beverly Enos. This is Spotlight Georgetown. Don't forget, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening. Thank you for joining us today. Bye for now.
Hello, my name is Jim Mully and I'm the Chief of Police of Georgetown, Massachusetts. If you live in Georgetown and you have a landline, then you're already signed up with our new reverse 911 system called Code Red. However, if you utilize cell phones or you want to be notified on your cell phone, we need you to visit the Town Georgetown website and sign up for Code Red. It's a simple application process. You can find this sign-up process either on the Town of Georgetown website or on the Georgetown Police Department's website. That'll allow us to notify you and your family in case of an emergency. This reverse 911 system will allow us in any situation to notify you and your family. If for any reason you do not want to be part of this and you want to have your landline phone removed, that's also possible, and as a request of the Georgetown Police Department, we will remove you from the database. I urge all of you to sign up with your cell phones on this new system to allow us to notify each and every one of you in an emergency. Thank you very much to your attention for this very important issue.